Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And gentlemen, thank you for your testimony. By the way, as a senator, I've gotten to kind of dig deep into the whole history of the nuclear Navy, and then it's really a remarkable organization. And, you know, you guys are all part of something in my view that's very special. It started out under some really unique leadership with Admiral Rickover, and then the systems in which we continue today have a long-term billet assignment for the admiral in charge of the nuclear Navy, an 8-year assignment. So one of the things I tried to do last year, and I raised this in the hearing 2 weeks ago on conventional surface shipbuilding, is saying, hey, why wouldn't we want to do something similar on shipbuilding? I asked Vice Admiral Downey on NAVC, from NAVC, should we make the NAVC billet like the head of Navy nuclear reactors, 8 years, and that way he can actually oversee shipbuilding. It was interesting, I didn't know this, but Admiral Downey said, well, NAVC is a 3-year billet, but it often gets extended, which actually kind of makes my point. So last year, I had a provision that this committee passed and voted on, pretty strongly bipartisan vote, that got in the Senate's NDAA bill for having NAVC to have an 8-year billet, just like the head of Navy nuclear reactors. So that individual, and then be done, retired, can actually seriously oversee shipbuilding, not have to look at your next billet assignment. What do you gentlemen think about that? I think Admiral Downey kind of liked the idea. I like the idea. I think we're going to reattack it again. Big Navy stripped it out last year in the conference with the House. I have no idea what the hell the House was doing, but the Navy didn't like it for some reason. Why? Why wouldn't we want to do that? It works for you guys. Why wouldn't it work for shipbuilding writ large? Anyone have a view on that?
Sir, I'll just start. I probably have a little bit of a unique perspective on my panel here. In PO carriers, I'm actually not a nuclear trained officer. I have immensely enjoyed working with naval reactors over the last 2 years in the job and have been incredibly impressed with it.
Do you think part of their impressiveness is the fact that the head of Navy nuclear reactors has an 8-year billet and
I do, sir.
retires
I'm certain that steady, capable leadership is part of their success. Absolutely.
Would that help in shipbuilding?
Longevity, the ability to see programs through a long period of time, I think is always helpful. People often bring up other factors such as being change agents and bringing fresh sets of eyes. From my perspective,
but if your fresh set of eyes are leaving every 3 years, you're
yes, sir. It has to be looked at from for every job. From a PO's perspective, I certainly trust Navy leadership to balance that properly.
Yeah,
and I
not always.
That's what they'll do.
Sometimes we know what we're talking about here.
Yes,
sometimes
sir.
we don't, but sometimes we do. Let me move on to another question. I just literally walked out of a meeting with Admiral Caudle, and we were talking about this same issue. He mentioned to me from 1960 to 64, the United States produced 41 boomer strategic submarines, 41 in 4 years. So we can do this. We all know we can do this. But we had a lot more shipyards back then. In the last 30 years, the number of public shipyards has been halved, leaving 4 and only 7 private new construction yards still in existence. Only 2 are what's more concerning is that we have only 2 private nuclear shipyards, and both of those are on the East Coast. The good news is there's very strong bipartisan support right now in the Senate and the House to help the Navy fix its shipbuilding crisis. And now you have the support of the President of the United States, who in his State of the Union has said he's making this a priority. Do we need more shipyards? Do we need West Coast shipyards? And if we did, I think this Congress would say, how many? We'll pay for them. What do you guys think? Open any and all.
I appreciate the question, sir. I think with our 2 nuclear shipbuilders today, we've been talking so far to the committee about all the work we're doing to move work outside of the 2 shipbuilders to what we call strategic outsourcing. The number we were talking about, it's about 7 million hours per year, so the equivalent of a surface ship, a destroyer that we're pushing out to the industrial base to other locations from a public
Do we need more shipyards?
So the shipyards, we're actually evaluating that right now, sir. We have a joint study going on with the Secretary of Defense's office, the Cape, as well as the Navy that will be finishing up, and we're in evaluation right now of what will be required.
What do you think, Admiral?
I actually am, and have the team that's running that study, and I'm waiting to see the final results, so I'll be able to get back to you later this year, sir.
Admiral Weeks?
So I agree with Admiral Rucker that we absolutely need more shipbuilding capacity in this nation. So whether that is discrete shipyards or as our current strategy is, which is to shift work out across the nation, right, not necessarily be constrained by coastal areas. I think again, from my perspective, the right answer is we've got to grow our capacity, and I think that comes in lots of different ways. And I'm looking forward to seeing the results of the study that Admiral Rucker referred to make sure we're being smart about how we pursue it.
Ms. Sherman, Admiral Martin, any of you guys have a view on this?
Sir, I think it's critically important that we get the shipyards that are both public in the maintenance world and, as you mentioned, our 2 nuclear yards to full capacity at 3 shifts and humming there as we assess this, which is part of what the study that Admiral Rucker is participating in is doing. And so the workforce efforts that we're undertaking to do that, to be able to really take advantage of 3 shifts at the public shipyards and take advantage of manning there, as well as how we use advanced manufacturing, have both got uplift possibilities.
Sir, I completely agree with my partners up here. Aircraft carriers are a little bit different. Obviously, the size of the platform, there's only 2 naval shipyards that are able to work on them, and 1 shipyard that's able to build. But collectively, I think it's an important part of the discussion. We're actually part of the study that Admiral Rucker mentions. I can assure you that it is data-based. It is, looking hard at the future capacity and the future workload, and it's going to inform the right decision, I'm sure.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, just one final question on aircraft carriers. We have one company in America that can build aircraft carriers, is that right?
That's correct, sir. Newport News Shipbuilding from HII is our carrier shipbuilder.
Thank you.
Thank